Long ago, in 12th century England, a tale of courage and justice began to unfold. The land was ruled by King Richard the Lionheart, but while he was away fighting wars, his younger brother, Prince John, was left in charge. Prince John was a selfish and greedy ruler, taking money and land from the poor to make himself richer. In the middle of this struggle stood Sherwood Forest, a vast green woodland filled with tall trees and hidden clearings. It was both a refuge and a battleground. The cries of the poor who suffered under Prince John's rule echoed through the night. Amidst these dark times, a hero rose, a man whose name would never be forgotten. His name was Robin Hood. To some, he was a criminal. To others, he was a savior. But to all, he was unforgettable. Robin Hood was once a young man named Robert of Locksley, but his friends called him Robin. He lived with his mother at Locksley Manor, while his father was away fighting alongside King Richard in a war outside their country. While he was overseas fighting in the war, King Richard left his younger brother to rule over England. Richard's brother was called John, but he was not a nice man. In fact, he was very greedy. John wanted to have more land and more manors than Richard. So, while landowners like Robin's father were away overseas with the king, Prince John seized the chance to steal land from noble families. One day, Prince John's soldiers came to Locksley Manor and took everything. Robin, his mother, and their workers managed to escape. Robin brought his mother to stay with her parents, ensuring she was safe. When he dared to stand against these injustices, he was declared an outlaw and forced to flee his ancestral home. Robin was very angry that his father's home and land had been taken, so he vowed to get his own back on these greedy men. He went into hiding near Nottingham and lived deep in Sherwood Forest. The vast expanse of ancient oaks and hidden glades became his sanctuary, but exile did not break Robin. It only hardened him. Stripped of privilege, he saw the plight of the peasants who starved under the weight of taxes, and he vowed to fight back. Robin's bravery and kindness attracted others who wanted to join his fight. Over time, Sherwood Forest became home to a group of men who shared his dream of justice. Together, they became known as the Merry Men. Among them were Little John, a giant of a man who was incredibly strong; Friar Tuck, a clever and cheerful monk; Will Scarlet, who wore red clothes and was quick with both his blade and his words; and Maid Marian, a noble woman who shared Robin's dream of helping the poor. The merry men lived as one family, loyal to each other and their cause. They wore green clothes to blend with the forest except for Robin's friend Will. He wore clothes that were red so that he looked like an autumn leaf when he hid. Robin called him Will Scarlet because of his red clothes. Will called Robin Robin Hood because his jacket had a hood at the back. As time went on, other men wanted to join Robin Hood and fight for justice. One of these men was John Little or Little John. He was just over 2 meters tall and could fight brilliantly with a long pole. "Your name ought to be John Big, because you are so very tall," laughed Robin Hood. "I shall call you Little John as a joke." Everybody else called him Little John too. Another person who joined the merry men was Alan Hardy. He was a minstrel, so he played his music and sang to entertain Robin and his men. One day, a monk called Friar Tuck came to Sherwood Forest looking for Robin of Locksley. There was a young woman with him. Her name was Marian. Marian's father wanted his daughter to marry a rich old man, but Marian was in tears and said that she could not marry this man because she loved another. Her true love is Robin of Locksley. The monk knew that Robin was hiding in Sherwood Forest, so he rescued Marian and brought her there so that she can marry her true love. Marian and Robin hugged in delight, and Friar Tuck and Marian joined the merry men. Maid Marian was more than just Robin's love. She was a brave, smart, and just, as determined to help the poor, often risking her own safety to aid the merry men. All the men who joined Robin were excellent archers. They could fire an arrow perfectly straight and hit a far-off target right in the center. Robin Hood's methods were as daring as they were unconventional. He targeted the wealthy nobles, corrupt officials, and tax collectors who profited from the people's misery. In well-planned ambushes, he and his band would descend from the forest like shadows, robbing the rich and redistributing their wealth to the poor. Robin and his men kept not one penny of the treasure they collected from the greedy men. Instead, they shared it with all the poorer people they knew, people who had lost everything when greedy Prince John and his men stole it. One of Robin's most famous escapades involved the Sheriff of Nottingham, Prince John's most zealous enforcer. The sheriff got very angry about the thieving that was taking place in his forest and determined to capture Robin. But no matter how many traps he set, Robin always found a way to escape. Robin's clever disguises and quick thinking made the sheriff look foolish time and time again. Robin's fame grew, and so did the dangers. Prince John declared him the most wanted man in England. The Sheriff of Nottingham unleashed relentless campaigns to capture him, employing spies, mercenaries, and even betrayal within Robin's ranks. Despite this, Robin always seemed one step ahead. One of the most legendary battles occurred at the Great Oak of Sherwood. Ambushed by the sheriff's forces, Robin and his band fought fiercely. Arrows flew like rain, swords clashed, and the forest itself seemed to conspire with the invaders. Against all odds, the merry men triumphed, driving the sheriff's forces into retreat. While Robin continued his fight for justice, a terrible news arrived. King Richard had been captured and was being held for ransom. Prince John refused to pay for his brother's freedom, hoping to take the throne for himself. Robin and the merry men came up with a plan. Using the treasure they had taken from the rich, they secretly paid the ransom and freed the king. A few weeks later, a mysterious knight, dressed in black, rode into Sherwood Forest. He removed his helmet to reveal that it was King Richard himself. Robin and his men bowed before the king, who thanked them for their loyalty. King Richard promised to punish Prince John, and he returned the stolen lands to their rightful owners. However, Robin refused to abandon the people who had come to depend on him. He chose to remain in Sherwood Forest, ever watchful, ever ready to fight for justice. Over time, Robin Hood's story became a legend. His courage and kindness inspired others to stand up against injustice. To this day, the tales of Robin Hood remind us that even in the darkest times, one person's bravery can bring hope to many. In the whispers of Sherwood Forest, the spirit of Robin Hood lives on, a hero who fought for a better world and became a symbol of justice for all.